Off the Hook, airing on offthehooksports.com, your home for real news, real opinions, and what really matters about Tennessee athletics. The Off the Hook podcast at offthehooksports.com or Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or wherever you go for your favorite podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, iHeart. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Off the Hook with Dave Hooker starts now.
Here we go with this guy, Cooper Mays, joining us now as he does each and every week. Brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com at cityheatandair.com. And they're not the home of the $29 service call. They're the home of integrity. That's City Heating and Air Conditioning. Want to remind you to like and subscribe to this video if you like more Cooper Mays, which don't we all? This is Cooper. First of all, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. So, Cooper, this is the last weekend coming up without any football at all because there is the Hall of Fame game. So, the Hall of Fame game, not this week, but the following week. So, it feels like football officially now.
Yeah, I think it's here. You know, we start camp basically in a week now from today, I think, and then like you said, there's football going on all across the U.S. Fixing to start here soon, so it's about that time.
I'm ready. I'm excited. So, congratulations, first of all, to you. I did vote for you. I voted for you first team, but I only have so much pull.
Right.
And but you did. I think you did make third team. Is that right? Third team All SEC preseason.
Yeah, I think it was third team. Yes, sir.
Okay. So is that a attaboy? I made All SEC, or is that a third team? I should be first. How do you respond?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only way to kind of take it is to you want to be first team personally, but it's nice to get a little bit of notice for your hard work and everything. But yeah, for sure, trying to change that around till the end of the year.
Yeah, but you're still a young guy too, so a lot of development in there. And is that something? I know some players say they don't really care about the preseason awards, but is something you even paid attention to or mindful of last week?
No. I got out of a workout and had like a little bit more notifications on my socials than probably normal, and then I looked at it. I was like, I didn't really know what it was about, so I've been tagged by a tweet from Tennessee, and that's how I found out. I don't know. I mean, I don't really pay attention to stuff like that. I just do what I do. So that's how I look at it.
Well, the thing is, too, they differentiate, and I'm more of a football guy than the average media type. So if it were up to me, I'd go tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle. Like I would actually pick the guys that played that position. Of course, there's versatility in some places, but they did have the differentiator where you had to pick a center because there were times in the past where the preseason All SEC team had no center. So I don't know how the quarterback got the ball. But why is center such a different position? I mean, I know some of the answers, but I want to get your take. Why is center such a different position than other spots on the offensive line?
Yeah, so the stance hinders you athletically just because you can't really shift your weight as much as other positions because you got to have equal stance as far as your feet, and then you got to have equal, amount of lean forward and backward. You can't put your hand in the ground like a tackle or a guard, and you got to have your hand on the ball. So if you don't have any type of forward lean and you don't have a stagger with your feet, it stops what you can do as much as movement. So you got to be a little bit better of an athlete to get out of your stance and still be, athletic out of it.
How involved are you in the front calls with this type of offense? That's hurry up. Do you handle many of the line calls in terms of blocking assignments?
Yeah, so I tell everybody what to do basically as far as like the baseline. So I'll make my calls, and that'll kind of relay everybody's job based off of what I said. So I basically control what everybody's doing on the play as far as up front.
Wow. So that's Does that get easier over time? Can you just talk about the development upstairs of how to figure all that out?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just kind of knowing football. So it's not even as much about the plays and everything. If you got to be able to like or for me at least, it was the first thing you have to learn is you have to be able to see the whole defense, kind of, especially the front seven. Not as much the DBs, but they do play into it a little bit. But you got to be able to recognize exactly what front you're going against, and then you when you move on from that, that's when you got to learn kind of what your plays are doing and what you're trying to accomplish off of them. So if you can understand football and then you understand not just what you're doing on the play, but if you understand the overall goal of the play and where the ball's trying to hit, when it's trying to hit there, if you understand all that stuff, then it comes really easy to you. So especially when you get into a game, if you get into a game where you get some confidence going and you're spitting the calls out fast, like me, about probably two drives into a game, I've already found a groove where I kind of know what they're going to call based off of what the situation is, and I kind of know what calls I'm going to make before he's ever even said the play because I can kind of feel it around me. But
It's funny how you talk about feeling it and seeing it and having a better understanding than maybe the average Joe, because I was thinking back in my head of some centers that have played at UT, and they all came from football families. Of course, your dad did, and your brother plays for the Panthers. And I just wonder if some of that stuff when you're like 8 years old, if it's just dropping little bits of knowledge like that sticks over time. Do you think that helps being a center from a football family?
yeah, I definitely think that your football knowledge is a huge part of being a center. Like if you don't know what everybody's doing around you, then you can't be a center. That's why you if you ask a center kind of what everybody's doing on a play, they'll probably be able to tell you all five positions what they're doing on that play. Whereas maybe it might not be as fast for some people that play guard or tackle. They kind of know what they're doing. But I kind of implore all these guys to not just know your job on the play, but know what we're trying to accomplish here. Like they're just knowing that who you have is not enough, in my opinion. I think you need to know how you're going to get there, how you're like what you're going to do if stuff doesn't go exactly how you're supposed to play it. There's a lot of stuff that kind of just comes from like you said, it's a feeling, and what I was referring to earlier. I think it's kind of you can learn football, but there's a certain amount of like spatial awareness that you can kind of be born with or not. I've always been able, even if I didn't know exactly what I was doing, I kind of find myself doing this a lot where I'll look back at my high school film and I was doing stuff that they're coaching now, but I was doing it before I ever even knew what I was doing or how I was doing it. I just kind of figured it out on the fly. So if you've got people that know football, then stuff gets a lot easier.
I think we're talking about instincts really as much as anything, and you just have that. I want to ask Cooper where exactly those instincts came from. 30 seconds from City Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
Back with Cooper Mays. Cooper, when did you first realize that you had pretty good instincts for this game of football?
I would say probably halfway taught and maybe halfway just God given. I would say like if you there's certain things you pick up on like when you have like your dad being playing at such a high level when he plays. So he would kind of let me in on little clues and stuff, and then a lot of stuff I kind of just figured out on my own. I think there's just a lot of people don't have the ability to see like a whole picture. I feel stuff happening around me without even seeing it. So that's helped me a lot. But then I remember a lot of stuff that my dad would tell me that were kind of just little cheat codes. Like I remember I was playing you'd be playing somebody in middle school and they were running, middle school probably football coaching isn't probably the best. So they're going to probably run the same play that works over and over. So, we had this team that was killing us with just little trap plays where the guard would pull and I would be playing D tackle and they would come and I would be running up the field and I would just play right into their hands. So my dad kind of called me over at halftime and was like, "Hey, bud, when you come off the ball and the person that you're playing against disappears and you look and somebody's coming to trap you like that, what you do is, you'll dive underneath and don't run upfield. So like if you go against the grain of the play, just stuff like that, just little bits of info. And I don't know why I can remember stuff like that, but I'm one of those people that if you tell me once, I'm probably not going to forget. So I can kind of store stuff in my memory really well.
That's pretty funny though. But to have a dad like that that's been that successful, does it all? I mean, were you at all like, "Hey, let me handle this"? I mean, I've got a teenage son, for goodness sake. He's rebellious. I mean, was there any of that ever in your all's relationship with of course, Kevin Mays, who played offensive line for Tennessee, your dad?
Probably not till I got older. Probably in high school, I started getting a little bit of confidence about myself, and that probably helped me, buck the authority a little bit. But when you were younger, I mean, there wasn't much talking back or anything. So, yeah, I guess you kind of just took it and just ran with it. But I didn't really start going back and forth at all until I was a little bit older. So I could kind of figure it out a little bit when I was older in age. So I didn't really need as much help.
So how much, Cooper, let me ask you this. How much in this offense can the offensive line gel, learn chemistry, and improve from year one to year two?
Right. I mean, there's always different places where you'll want to try to strengthen it, or places, areas that you think you're fine. So I mean, just finding the areas that we need to improve on and just kind of focusing on that, honing in on that, and then just the places that we're strong, keep them there, and then overall just trying to learn the game better. Like I said, knowing the whole picture. Like I was telling the guys, don't just know exactly what you're doing. That's not good enough. Try to figure out what the whole play, the whole scheme of the play is trying to accomplish. So I think if you just find more knowledge and hone in on your details, I think you're always going to get better.
Well, he's a first teamer to me, even though the media in Atlanta designated him third team. He got a first team vote from me. So it's Cooper Mays, Tennessee center and offensive lineman. And his visit with us is brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning at cityheatandair.com. Check them out. They're not going to tell you they're going to come out and do a $29 service call. They're going to do what's right by you. That's City Heat and Air, cityheatandair.com.